Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. In today's class, we'll be going over trigonometry. A lot of emphasis will be on questions involving radians, and then there will be some more questions. So now, first of all, let me jot down the basic idea. That is, when we talk about trigonometry, there are three things that we talk about. Whether it's about equations, whether it's about identities, whether it's about a sketch, and it could also be about questions that are conceptual, and these are triangle-based questions. Now, the next thing that I want to focus on is this thing, that when we talk about the quadrants, there are four quadrants that we talk about. That is the first and the second and the third and the fourth. This is the positive x-axis. This is the positive y-axis. We know that anti-clockwise angles are positive. Therefore, clockwise angles are negative. We know that the relation between theta and alpha, theta is the required angle, alpha is the basic angle. Theta or x, that is the required angle that is being asked in a question. Alpha is the basic angle. What is the definition of basic angle? That is acute angle with x-axis, with the horizontal. So now in the first quadrant, theta is equals to alpha. In the second quadrant, this is pi minus alpha. In the third quadrant, pi plus alpha. In the fourth quadrant, 2 pi minus alpha. We could be dealing with two different kinds of question. It could be related in which the answer will be in terms of pi. And when we talk about the answer, that means we are talking about the angles. And it could be that the answer is in decimals. Therefore, work in, and I pay a lot of emphasis on this, work in 4 significant figures so that the final answer is in 3SF. Now, when you pay a lot of emphasis on this, that will ensure that in the exam you won't be making any mistake. So this is all about angle in radians. And pi is 3.142 and 2 pi is 6.284. So now that is all good, all clear. What else is there? I think that's the basic idea. So let's get started without waiting for perfection. Now, question number 5, this particular question is about a sketch. Sketch the curve y is equals to 2 sine x. That's the first thing for x between 0 and 2 pi. So now if I focus on the first part and y is equals to 2 sine x, so let me draw the grid. And 2 sine x, what are the main points that we should be aware of? That is this thing, that is the maximum value is 2 and the minimum value is negative 2. The coefficient of x is simply 1. So therefore 1 cycle in 360 degrees or 2 pi radians. So let me write over here, 2 pi radians is 360 degrees. Pi radians is 180 degrees. Pi by 2, that is 90 degrees. Pi by 4, that is 45 degrees. Pi by 3, that is 60 degrees. And pi by 6, that is 30 degrees. So these are the common things that we should know. So y is equals to 2 sine x, 1 cycle in 360 degrees. So let's get started with this one. So let me draw this thing like this. The maximum value is 2, minimum value is 1. I think that's not bad. 3 and 3 like this. Okay, that is good enough. And let me draw like 3 and 3 like this. Okay, so that is 1 cycle. Let me label it out. This is 0, this is 90, this is 180, and this is 270, 123, 123, perfect, and like this. So this is 2 pi, this is pi, this is 0, maximum value is 2, minimum value is -2, and this is the 5 major points. That's the x-axis, that's the y-axis. Now, graphical solution of equation, exactly what we talked about in class today, and I did refer to you that yes, we'll be going over it. Now it says, by drawing a suitable straight line to your sketch, determine the number of real roots of the equation. What is the equation? This one. Now, what is the logic that I explained to you in the class? The logic that I explained to you was this: separate 2, separate sin x, whatever you have drawn. So whatever you have drawn, just separate it out. So this is 2, this is sin x. So in other words, let me write over here, that is 2 sin x is equals to pi minus x divided by pi. So I have taken this pi from here. Let me highlight this. I have taken this bluish pi from here. And there is pi, there is x, and I have transferred to the other side. So 2 sin x is equals to this. This is what you have drawn, which is right over here. Y is equals to 2 sin x. So replace y. Pi over pi is 1 minus x over pi. This is the straight line. Now some people they ask this question, that how do you know it's a straight line? How do you know that it's not a curve? Well, look at y. The power of y is 1 in the numerator. The power of x is 1 in the numerator. It's a linear equation. So now let me plug in some points. Y is equals to 1 minus x over pi. So let me draw a graph right over here, a grid. And let me plug in 3 values. I think that would be more than enough. We have 0 to 2 pi. So let me write x over here. Let me write y over here. Let me write 0. Let me write pi. Let me write 2 pi. And I'll plug it in over here, which is y is equals to 1 minus x over pi. Y is equals to 1 minus x over pi. If I plug in 0 in this equation, this x becomes 0, so I'm left with 1. If I plug in pi in this equation, pi over pi is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. So 2 points are more than enough. 3 is for security, for safety, so that you don't go wrong. The third one, that is 2 pi over pi. So 1 minus 2, this comes out to be -1. So 0 is giving me 1. So let me label it in red color. 0 is giving me 1. And pi is giving me 0. That's no, not this color, the blue color. Pi is giving me 0. And the third one, 2 pi, is giving me -1. So 2 pi is giving me -1. So now let me join using a pink line from here. And this line, just ignore the thickness, this line goes like this. So this straight line is y. Where should I label this? Over here. Y is equals to 1 minus x over pi. That is the suitable line. They are asking us determine the number of real roots. State the equation. The equation is stated. And how many points of intersection are there? That is 1 point, that is 2 points, there is 3 points. So there are 3 points of intersection, which means 3 solution of equation. Just remember, points of intersection of 2 graphs with one another is the same thing as that equation equaling to 0. So 2 pi sine x plus x minus pi equals to 0. The roots of this equation is the same thing as the points of intersection of these graphs. I hope this is all good, all clear. So let me move ahead. Correct sine curve. Required line passes through these 3 points, and they have put in 2 points. I have put in 3 points. And there are 3 roots of this equation, 3 solution. So that's how this question is done. Now let me just look at my WhatsApp very quickly. Can you explain the question, the sketch part? Okay, let me explain the sketch part again. Now, people, it is a must that when we solve these questions, your basics should be very, very thorough. If someone has missed out any part, just go through the recorded lectures, get the access for that, and get over that. So you cannot linger this on for a very long time. When we talk about this thing, 2 sine x, 1 cycle in 360. 360 is 2 pi. Because of this 2, the maximum is 2, minimum is negative 2. So this is 0 till pi, half cycle, that makes 1 cycle. By drawing a suitable straight line, whatever we have drawn, isolate that, replace it with y, pi minus x over pi minus x over pi, simplify 1 minus x over pi. That's a straight line. That's a linear equation. How do I know it's a linear equation? Power of y is 1 and power of x is 1. That is how you get it. Again, this is O-level math. This is graphical solution of equation. So once you get this line, just plug in 3 points, join those 3 points, that is this one, and this one right over here. And when you draw this particular line, it's intersecting at 3 points. That is the number of solution of this equation. Real roots is number of solution. So now that thing is done. Let's move to the next question. Now this is a question in which y is replaced with fx. So basically this is a trig function question. Since we have not officially studied function, that is why I have skipped this part, which is about inverse and domain and range, that we will study when we are done with functions. Okay. Now fx is 4 sine x minus 1, x lies between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. They are asking us 3 things, the range, the sketch, and the second part is different. So let me just use an eraser. Let me remove this. And first of all, let me just write an orange thing over here that is separate. Let me solve the 2 green things first. So fx is equals to 4 sine x minus 1. First, let's focus on this sine x. That means 1 cycle in 360 degrees. Okay? Or 2 pi radians. Then the next thing, it's from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. That is minus 90 to 90. So therefore, that's 180 degree difference. So that should be half a cycle. That is the thing. Then we have 4 as the amplitude. So the maximum value is 4, minimum value is negative 4. But because of this negative 1, 4 plus 1 comes out to be 5, minus 4 plus 1 comes out to be negative 3. So now all these things need to be taken care of. So let me just draw this thing over here. That's right over here. And I can draw 4 sine x minus 1. Sorry, it's not plus 1, it's minus 1. My bad. Let me just correct myself. So this is minus 1. Okay. So this is in green color. 4 minus 1 is 3. Minus 4 minus 1 is negative 5. So now I can draw a horizontal line which is over here. So therefore this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, this is the line y is equals to negative 1, because I'll be going 4 units up from here. So this is negative 1, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So basically the graph would go like this, 4 sine x and then minus 1 like this. So let me label the points. This is 0, the origin. This is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So let me push this thing up a bit. Okay, so now this is 4. So the maximum value is 3. Actually, I have to go down. And let me just put another line because it's not worthwhile. So therefore this purple color over here. Okay. So now this is over here, let me erase this. Okay. So this is 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. And now let me draw a cycle. So let me choose red color. And this is drawn like this. Okay. Like this, not the exact same thing. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, so just ignore the thickness. This is y is equals to -1. This is 1 point. Just mark it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now basically we have shifted it down and I have drawn it directly. If you want, you can first draw the cycle like this, mark the 5 major points, and then shift it 1 unit down. So I have directly shifted it 1 unit down. The maximum value is 3. So let me highlight this. The maximum value is 3. The minimum value is -5. It's one cycle in 2 pi radians, but there is an issue. They're asking from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So this is 2 pi. That's right over here. Let me draw the one that they need. So this is all good, all clear. Now someone will be thinking along this line. So now this is pi by 2. So this is pi by 2. This is pi. And this is 2 pi. So I need this much of the cycle like this. I need this much of the cycle like this. So that is what we will be drawing. So now let me go to this thing. And for a second, let me ignore the thickness. So this is minus 90 to 90. So now, first of all, what I can do is that let me draw this graph that's over here. Something like this. Something like this. This is between 0 and pi by 2. This is 0. This is pi by 2. This is negative pi by 2. And this is y, this is x, this is 4 sine x. This is y is equals to 4 sine x. Now let me draw in purple color, y is equals to 4 sine x minus 1. So this thing goes 1 unit down. And this is labeled as 4, this is labeled as -4. It's not, just ignore the squares. And just go 1 unit down, just go 1 unit down, just go 1 unit down, something like this. And let me draw this thing like this. This goes like this. This goes like this. So the green one, that is y is equals to 4 sine x minus 1. All good, all clear. This is just to give you the idea that if you were to draw from 0 to 2 pi, that's how you draw it. But they are just asking this portion of the graph, and that is how we have drawn. State the range of f and sketch the graph. How do you find the range? What is the maximum value? So the maximum value is now reduced. Let me write in green color to 3. And this is reduced to -5. Maximum is 3. Minimum is -5. So therefore the range fx lies between two values. We are not officially doing functions right now, but that's how we write it. So the maximum is 3 and this is -5. Find the coordinates of the point at which the curve intersects the coordinate x's. So let me just copy this. Let me take it to the next page. And let me solve this. So over here, now I'm doing this part. Second part, 4 sine x minus 1 equals to 0. This is for the x-axis. So this is y is equals to this. This is y. So y is equals to 0. 4 sine x equals to 1. Sine x equals to 1/4. And then it's about the quadrants. So 0 to 90. 0 to pi by 2. That is the first quadrant. And the fourth quadrant is -pi by 2 to 0. So now we have to look out for both of them. And the answers are right over here. That's over here. Okay. So therefore, this is where the curve meets y-axis, meets x-axis. So therefore, y is equals to 0. Now over here, let me do the working. Sine x is equals to 1/4. First of all, the quadrant separately. This is first quadrant, that is anti-clockwise. Fourth quadrant, that is clockwise. Now let me write the range below it. X lies between 0 and pi by 2. Over here, x lies between 0 and negative pi by 2. You have to treat it separately. Basic angle, let alpha be the basic angle. Sine of alpha is 0.25. I'm grabbing my calculator. Why don't you go ahead and get your calculator? So first of all, is it in the radian mode? Where is the radian mode? Over here. Okay, I got the radian mode. And then 0.25 and then shift and then sine. So this comes out to be 0.2526. Alpha comes out to be 0.2526 radians. What is the accuracy level? They haven't specified it. So we will just go with the what's written in the question paper. So this thing is done. So over here, theta is equals to alpha, that is 0.2526, which comes out to be 0.253 radians. That is this answer. And over here, theta is equals to negative alpha. Now, why is it negative alpha? Let me explain it to you. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. In the first quadrant, the blue angle. So let me just choose this color, change this color to blue. So we are looking for anti-clockwise angle. And over here, if this blue color is there, and let me change this color, hold for a second. Okay, so if we are talking about the blue color, that is right over here. So this is theta is equals to alpha. And if we talk about the green color, then theta is equals to the mirror image of that. So therefore over here, it's just moving this way. This is the first quadrant. This is the fourth quadrant. Theta is negative alpha. So therefore theta is negative 0.253. Now let's look at the answer. They have given us one answer where it meets the coordinate axes. So this is where it meets, and this thing is not part of the range. So that is why we ignore this answer. Over here, this answer is given 0.253 because the graph is touching over here. Just look at the graph. So that is like this. And it's not touching on this portion. So if you were solving an equation, yes, you would be able to do it. But because of the shift, it's not touching the coordinate axes anymore. So therefore, the only answer that we write over here, that is the x-intercept, that is 0.253, 0. What about this thing where this graph, let me add a page. Okay, so let me copy the question. What about where it meets y-axis? Therefore, x is equals to 0. So therefore, 4 sine 0 minus 1, which is simple, which is 4 into 0 minus 1, which comes out to be negative 1. So this point right over here, this is negative 1. So the y-intercept is 0 and negative 1. So that is the answer over here. That was the simple part. This domain and range, this we will do in functions. So this is all good, all clear. So now this thing is done. And let me just have a look at this thing. Someone have given me the answer. Thank you for that. And let me proceed with this question. Now, there are certain questions that I talked about in which I said that one of the answer will cancel out and we have to do something and maybe go further, maybe go backwards. These are those two special questions. So worked example 1, this is related with cancellation stuff. And let's get started with this. So now the question says, solve the equation sine 2 theta plus 40 degrees is equals to 0.5, theta lies between such and such. First thing first, we will write first and second quadrant. That is the first thing. And this example was done in class also, but now I'm doing it so that this is captured and as a video for this channel, Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. First and second quadrant, the second thing, that is modification of range 2 theta lies between 0 and 720, and 2 theta plus 40 degrees lies between 40 and 760 degrees. That is the second thing. The third thing, that is the basic angle, sine alpha is 0.5, therefore alpha is 30 degrees. So far so good. Working towards the final answer, we will write 2 theta plus 40 degrees is equals to, first quadrant theta is alpha, second quadrant theta is 180 minus alpha, and then we add 360 more, we add 360 more. So therefore this comes out to be 390 degrees, this comes out to be 510 degrees. Now when we look at this thing, this at this stage, compare this with this. Is any one of the answer cancelling out? Yes, the first answer is cancelling out. So this needs to be cancelled. So let me write over here, this needs to be cancelled. This is out of range. Now the rule is the alternative, if it exists, it will exist in the same quadrant. You just have to go a bit ahead because you have the liberty of going till 760. So let me show this on the grid. So that's right over here. That is the y-axis, that is the x-axis, that is the first angle which is right over here. So over here what we are doing is that I'm drawing a diagram so that it's easier for you to understand. So therefore, let me write over here, this is 30 degrees. And then after one revolution, it's giving me the blue angle like this, that is 390 degrees. Now this 30 has been cancelled off. So go one more revolution like this. And this is 390 plus 360, which is 750, which is within this range. So 30 is giving me 390, it's giving me 750 degrees, and I have to choose the 750 degrees. So now make theta the subject. So 2 theta is equals to 150 minus 40. This is 150 by the way, that is 110, 390 minus 40, that is 350 degrees, this is 470 degrees, this is 710 degrees. Make theta the subject, that is 55, that is how much? 175, this is 235, this is 355. All the final answers, they should be within this range, and that's how this question is completed. So the very important question that you see right over here, and just have a good look at it. So all good, all clear. Let me see. Okay. So let's move on. Okay, now a question on the flip side. So worked example 2, again cancellation stuff, and this comes in P1, this comes in P3 also. Cancellation stuff, and what is special, I'll write it after a while. So solve the equation cosine 2 theta minus 70 degrees is equals to 0.5. Again, we will write first and fourth quadrant because cosine is positive in first and fourth. Next thing we will write is that modification of range 2 theta lies between 0 and 720. Basically, we multiply by 2, multiply by 2. And then now we are subtracting. 2 theta minus 70 degrees lies between negative 70 and this is 650 degrees. And then we will write cosine alpha is equals to 0.5. Therefore, alpha comes out to be 60 degrees. Therefore, over here, 2 theta minus 70 degrees is equals to, in the first quadrant, it's 60. In the fourth quadrant, 360 minus 60 is 300. Add 360 more, that is 420 degrees. Add 360 more, that is how much? 660 degrees. So let me also write over here, what are we adding? 360. So this is 360 more, this is 360 more because you're going one more revolution. So now when you do this, make theta the subject. So 2 theta is equals to, but wait a minute, even before that, the checking part. So let me grab the green marker. These are 4 answers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And check whether are these part of this range or not, minus 70 till 650. So over here, 60 is good, 300 is good, 420 is good, 660 is good. So this 660, it cancels out because it's out of range. So you have to drop this out. Now, how is it different from this one? Over here, the first answer, when it cancels out, you have the liberty of going ahead. Over here, when the last answer cancels out, you cannot go ahead, you have to go back. You have the liberty of going back. Going back is clockwise. So let me write over here, we are talking about clockwise angle, which is negative angle. Again, let me draw a grid. So I am drawing a grid. And I have drawn this angle, which is 300 degrees in red color. So that is 300. We are going like this. This is 300 degrees. And then this is red color, by the way. So this is red color. We go like this. This is 300 degrees. We add how much more? We add this thing more. So therefore, another 360, this comes out to be 660. Now we know that the decision is made by the basic angle. So basic angle, this angle is the decision maker. So when this is the decision maker, this angle is 60. Why don't I go clockwise 60 degrees? Clockwise 60 degrees will make me reach the same point. So therefore, instead of 660, what will I write? Negative 60 degrees. So that is special about this question. You go clockwise 60 degrees. So now let me write in the proper order. 2 theta minus 60 degrees is equals to negative 60, positive 60, and then we have 300 and 420. 300 and 420 degrees. All good, all clear? So now that thing is replaced and we have these 4 things. So now what we will do is that we will make theta the subject. First make 2 theta. That is negative 60. And by the way, this is 70, not 60. Just a small slip of tongue or pen over here. This is 70 degrees. So this is negative 60 plus 70. This is 60 plus 70. This is 300 plus 70. And this is 420 plus 70. Let me just write it properly over here. So this is 70 degrees. And let me make it thinner. So therefore 2 theta is equals to 10 over 2, which is 5 degrees. 130 over 2, this is 65 degrees. 370 over 2, which is 185 degrees. And 490 over 2, which is 245 degrees. So these are the answers that we are getting. So these are theta. I have made theta the subject, and that's how the final answers are obtained. So go to your WhatsApp group and acknowledge it over there that this is all good, all clear. I'll just pause the recording for a short while. So now let's look at this question. This question is about solving sine 2 theta plus pi by 3 is equals to half, but the range is for 0 till pi. Giving theta in terms of pi in your answer. So this is a radian question. Sine bracket 2 theta plus pi by 3 is equals to half. It's the first and the second quadrant because sine is positive. Second thing, theta lies between 0 and pi. So that's half a revolution. 2 theta lies between 0 and 2 pi. That's a full revolution. 2 theta plus pi by 3, that is 2 pi plus pi by 3, and this is pi by 3. That is the modified range. So let me just highlight it over here. So that is the modified range that we will check. The last thing, sine alpha is half, therefore alpha is pi by 6. Last part, 2 theta plus pi by 3 is equal to our first quadrant pi by 6 and then our second quadrant pi minus pi by 6. So now the range over here, let's double check. This is pi by 6, this is pi minus pi by 6. Which one is exceeding this range? The range is starting from pi by 3. This is pi by 6. So again, what do? We cancel this out because this is out of range. So that means I should add a 2 pi and double check that is there any alternative available in the same quadrant? So this scenario is just like that, just like the previous one, the first worked example. So now over here, this was the angle, that is pi by 6. This is not available. Go one more revolution, that is pi plus pi by 6. So this is 2 pi plus pi by 6. So 6 into 2 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13 pi over 6. And keep in mind, this thing over here, 3 into 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. This is 7 pi by 3. Or this can be written as 14 pi by 6. This thing is within the range. So therefore, this thing cancels out. The alternative is what? The alternative is this thing, which is 13 pi by 6. So this question is just like this particular question. The first answer cancels off. You add 360 degrees or 2 pi radians. The last answer cancels off. You go clockwise. These are the two extreme things that could come. So over here, we have all four things. Let me make theta the subject. So let me just do the working right over here. Let me make a box. And over here, I'll write 2 theta plus pi by 3 is equals to, this is 5 pi by 6. This one is 5 pi by 6. This is 13 pi by 6. And let me subtract pi by 3. Pi by 3, I can write this thing as 2 pi by 6 for simplicity, for fractional working. 2 theta is 5 pi by 6 minus 2 pi by 6. And this is 13 pi by 6 minus 2 pi by 6. Let's go slow on this. This is 3 pi by 6. This is 11 pi by 6. This is 2 theta. Make theta the subject. So therefore divide by 2, this is 3 pi by 6 into 2 is 12, and this is 11 pi by 12. This can be further reduced, that is pi by 4, and this is 11 pi by 12. There is no harm in double checking the answer. So these are the answers that I'm getting, pi by 4 and 11 pi by 12. This is pi by 4, 11 pi by 12. So these are the two good answers that we have done. By the way, this is also a past paper question. I just picked a part out of it. I think it was 31 or 33. You can go ahead and double check. So now least and greatest value, the last major thing that we need to be aware of is that there are some questions in which the least value, the greatest value, and all these things are there. So everyone out there watching this thing live, why don't you go ahead and grab your calculator, make sure it's in the radian mode, because we will be doing the calculation. Okay. So now over here, for least and greatest value, what is the logic that we apply? Now let's say I have an inequality. Let's say n plus 1 is greater than 5.7. In other words, n is greater than 4.7. If they ask me, write down least integer value of n, and this is the question that they are giving me. So let me first write down the least integer value of n, and this is the question. So what we do is that, let me just figure things out. Let me write it in a line. Okay. And let me grab this thing. Okay. So now if I'm interested in writing down the least integer value of n, so this is the question. The question says n plus 1 is greater than 5.7. Take it to the other side, n is greater than 4.7. So let me write over here 4, let me write over here 5, 6, 7, all the way till infinity. N is greater than 4.7. So let me use a red line over here. Let me make it thicker. So this is red line and it's over here. So 4.7 is somewhere like this. So this point over here, that is 4.7. N is greater than 4.7. There are many values. The next value is 5, then 6, then 7. But out of all these, is 5 the least value? The answer is yes. So therefore, n is equals to 5. This is the least value. Now remember, whenever the inequality is greater or equal to, they will be asking us the least integer value. Keep that in mind. On the flip side, if I write down the greatest integer value of m, write down greatest integer value of m, such that, so let me write over here, such that, why is it not writing, such that m plus 2 is, this is greater, so this is lesser than 9.7. Or let me make it even 9.1. 9.01. Therefore, m is lesser than 7.01. So now we have 7 over here, we have 6 over here, we have 5, we have 4, all the way till infinity. So now if this is the scenario, what will happen? You have to draw a number line. So now over here, when you draw a number line, let me use a blue color over here and write down the greatest integer value. So now m is lesser than 7.1. It's just a little bit more than 7. And let me also shift this thing a little bit over here. So now I have 8 also over here, and this is 7.1 over here. So this is 7.1. It's not drawn to scale, just to give you the idea. It's 7.1 over here, and we are going in this direction. Now, which are the integer values which are lesser than 7.01? We have 7, we have 6, we have 5, we have 4, we have the negative values. Which one is the greatest among them? So the greatest among them is 7. So always remember, m is equals to 7 is the greatest value. And when we talk about the greatest value, that will always be asked when there is a lesser inequality. It's a hard and fast rule. Greater sign, they will ask you for the least value. Lesser sign, they will ask you for the greatest value. It has to do something with the number line. Now, let's look at this question which you people were anxiously asking for. So let me just grab my calculator. It's in the radian form, and let's get started. Now the question says, the first question, find the largest value, find the greatest value of y such that. So let me get started with this. So I'll write 5 tangent, let me write directly, tangent 2y plus 1 is equals to 16 divided by 5. That comes out to be 3.2. So this comes out to be 3.2. And now it's a 4-step question. The first step is tangent is positive in first and third quadrant. Now the range is specified over here, okay? And this 4 without degree sign, that means it's in radians. The second thing, y is less than 4, 2y is less than 8, 2y plus 1, this thing over here, is lesser than 9. Because you have doubled it and then you have done this. So basically what we have done is that y is lesser than 4, 2y is lesser than 8, 2y plus 1 is lesser than 9. So we are focusing our attention over here. Now, what's the next step? That is the calculation of the basic angle. So that is this thing that, hold for a second, why is it not working? So tangent of alpha is 3.2, shift, and then tan, and then 3.2. This comes out to be 1.2679. That is 1.268. So therefore, alpha is 1.268. That is the basic angle. Now we have to work this out. Now this is kind of a strange question. So now how will we work out? We will write 2y plus 1. And this is equals to, in the first quadrant, this is 1.268. In the third quadrant, this is 3.142 plus 1.268. And let me just add at random 2 more values. Doesn't make a difference. So let me add 2 pi to this. So 1.268 plus 6.284. Remember, pi is 3.142. 2 pi is 6.284. So this thing, and then over here, let me again add this thing, 3.142 plus 1.268 plus 2 pi, which is 6.284. Do you get the idea? Let me draw a sketch for you. Over here, let me draw 2 sketches. It's too low. Okay, over here, if we draw this thing, that's the first quadrant, this is the third quadrant. In the first quadrant, let me just correct it. In the first quadrant, we have 1.268. And I'm going one more revolution this way, that is 1.268 plus 2 pi, that's this thing over here. So let me highlight this. So this purple one is 1.268 and then 1.268 plus 6.284. And then the pink one, that is this thing over here. No, that is 3.142 plus 1.268. So let me write this thing in orange. 3.142 plus 1.268, hold for a second. 3.142 plus 1.268 and then 2 pi over here. So this is over here. This is 3.142 plus 1.268, 1.268, and then we are going one more revolution like this. This is 3.142 plus 1.268 plus 6.284. So that is this thing and this thing over here. Now what I'll do is that I'll subtract 1 from each and then divide by 2. Among these, whichever one is the largest value, just pick that, but make sure y is lesser than 4. So now over here, I'll write 2y is equals to 0.268. This is, let me use the calculator. So therefore, this is 3.142 plus 1.268. Add it up, minus 1 divided by 2. 3.41. Hold for a second. Let me just do the correction. 3.142 plus 0.268. 3.142 plus, I've subtracted 1, 0.268. 0.268. This comes out to be 3.41. Then 0.268 plus 6.284. 6.284. That comes out to be 6.552. And last but not the least, 3.142 plus 1.268 plus 6.284 minus 1. This comes out to be 9.694. Now we are getting 4 answers like this. So 2y should be less than 8. 2y should be less than 8. I'm just focusing on this one. 2y should be less than 8, or I can focus on this one, doesn't make a difference. This is good, this is good, this is not good. That means the correct answer will be obtained from here. No harm, let me do the division. Y is equals to 0.268, 0.268 divided by 2. That is 0.134. 3.41 divided by 2. That is 1.705. 6.552 divided by 2. That is 3.276. 3.276. And last but not the least, 9.694 divided by 2. This comes out to be 4. Let me write it. This is 4.847. Out of all these, which one is the greatest value in this range? So out of all these, the greatest value is this one, which is 3.276. So therefore, y is 3.28, correct to a 3 significant figure. This is the greatest value. Now just have a good look at it, because this was not an easy question. By the way, this particular question is from AddMaths. So now someone is doing the working with me together. I mean, that is perfectly good, very involved. And I want every other person over here, just message me individually if they have understood it thoroughly. I'll just pause the recording so that you are all aware of exactly what's going on. So now this is what was done. And this is the working from yesteryears before. And that is the working right over here. Just to tell you that I've done this question before also. So now I would like you to try out this question and then I'll show you the solution. So let me pause the recording and take 5 minutes and solve it thoroughly. Take care of the accuracy. So now let's look at this question, question number 4. It says, given that x is measured in radians and x is greater than 10. This time they're asking for the smallest value of x such that this is the equation. Now let's compare the two. Over here, y is less than 4. They were asking for the largest value. This time x is greater than 10. They are asking us for the smallest value. So the first step is cosine bracket x plus 1 over 2 is equals to 0.3. Now, let me just get the calculator ready. So first of all, the scientific calculator, radian, cosine inverse 0.3. So cosine inverse, the basic angle is coming out to be 1.266. Okay, so 1.266. Thank you. Someone has also given me the answer. So now, first of all, let me write. It's in the first and fourth quadrant. That is the first thing. Then modification of the range. X is greater than 10. X plus 1 is greater than 11. 10 plus 1 is 11. X plus 1, sorry, not 11. I think I just wrote it by mistake. X plus 1 is 11. Therefore, x plus 1 divided by 2 is 11 over 2 or 5.5. So now let me just highlight this range because this will be used up later. So x plus 1 is over 2 is greater than 5.5, or x plus 1 is greater than 11. We can use any one of these. And then let's work it out. The next step is what? That is cosine alpha is 0.3. Therefore, alpha is written right over here, 1.266. 1.266. We work in 4 significant figures. So now, what should I write? I should write x plus 1 over 2 is equals to 1.266. And then 2 pi, which is 6.284 minus 1.266. And let me add 2 more answers. Doesn't make a difference. So therefore 1.266 plus 2 pi. So let me grab a calculator, and it's right over here, the basic calculator. So this is 1.266 plus 6.284. 6.284. I'm using the calculator right over here, and this comes out to be 7.55. And let me add this value and let me add this thing. So 6.284 minus 1.266. This comes out to be 5.018. Let me first write it over here. 5.018. This is 1.266. This is the red one is 7.55. That goes again over here. And over here, the blue one is what? 5.018 plus 6.284. So this comes out to be 11.302. 11.302. This is 11.302. So this is x plus 1 over 2. Now what should I do? Multiply by 2. So therefore, if I multiply by 2, therefore x plus 1 equals to 2 into 1.266. That is 2.532. 2.532. And 5.018 into 2, that is 10.036. 7.55 into 2, that is 15.1. So this is 15.1, and 11.302 into 2, that is 22.604. 22.604. So now let's focus over here. So we have x plus 1, and we need a value just greater than 11. This value, not worth it, not worth it. This is the right one. This is not worth it. So basically, we are focusing on this value because 15.1 minus 1 will give me the answer which is just above 10. The other answers will be greater than this. So therefore, x plus 1 is 15.1. Therefore, x is 14.1. And I think that's the answer, correct to 3SF. I have the answer, and there it is. So this answer is 14.1, correct to 3SF. So that completes this class, a very comprehensive class regarding trigonometry, radians, lot of variety, lot of cancellation stuff, and that completes this particular lecture. I hope you have enjoyed this lecture and enjoyed trigonometry thoroughly. Till the next class, take care.